Hello, welcome to another episode of the Hayes Hustle Podcast. It is me, your host, the trap trainer, Coach Hayes himself. Thank you for joining us. I would love if you would take the time to like, to share, to comment, and please subscribe. Enjoy this next episode. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Hayes Hustle Podcast. It's me, your host, the big OG, the trap trainer himself, Coach Hayes. I'm in the house. Hope you're having a fantastic day. It is the fourth day of the week, which is Thursday. We call that Therapy Thursday, the Rollback Thursday. Going back in time to extract some of these crazy things out of my head. Be able to share my past with you. This is my attempt to let you know a little bit more about me, why my views are the way they are, why I think the way I think. And I think by giving you some background on myself, really explaining to you how I've been traumatized through my life. Some of it good, some of it bad. I guess traumatized would be all bad, but it's not actually. I learned a lot. I grew up in the mud in St. Louis, and single father, and sometime I was with my single parent mother, not very much. Kidnapped back and forth from both of them. Dad a drug dealer, mom on drugs, just a mess. But there was a silver lining. There was a big silver lining too. I mean, my father had 14 brothers and sisters, so I had 80 cousins and a crazy grandmother, you know what I mean, a crazy grandfather, and they loved the shit out of me, and another grandmother that did not like me, you know what I mean, and cousins that treated me like brothers, and we treat each other like brothers and sisters, even though we was, our parents were brothers and sisters. We treat each other like brothers and sisters, and we learned how to not only cope, but to thrive from the mud. Learn how to grow out of the mud. Didn't have all the nutrients we needed to grow, and we grew anyway out of the concrete, right? Like we did it anyway. We did it anyway. Like them stubborn weeds you see growing between the cracks. Wait, there ain't even no dirt there. How the fuck is those things growing? That was us. Like, no matter what, bro, we coming up. We coming up, right? Like, we at the bottom, nigga. We coming up. And that's what I'm here to talk about on these Throwback Thursdays, because I actually think your adversity is the key to you winning. The adversity is the key to you achieving and getting self-confidence. Not just getting beat down by adversity, but learning from adversity, battling through adversity. It shows who you truly are. Right? It shows you true. As soon as you get into a down situation, it's that that fight or flight. Fight or flight. Do I start throwing people I know under the bus? Do I start, you know what I mean? Do I start saying it's his fault, that fault, and that fault? Or do I go, fuck, I gotta buckle down. Get this shit going. Talking that real talk, man. I ain't talking no fluff. I'm here. It's Thursday, throwback day. I'm finna go back into it. But first, I just want to make sure we got that real game rolling, man. See, I'm representing Sac State. My baby girl down there just killing them, man. Unbelievable. Playing big schools like Florida, Clemson. Just crazy. Shout out to the Sac State girls, volleyball girls. My daughter's the captain on the team down there. Let's go. She's number 2, Team Deuce, all in the house. That's a shout out. They don't pay for that. I love that program. You take care of my baby, I take care of you. Shout out to Sac State volleyball, Sac State University. You have my heart. You have my heart. That school actually has my heart. College days, crazy stuff. Throwback Thursday, let me take care of the sponsors. Big shout out to our sponsors, Temptation Freshies. Temptation Freshies, personalizing your ride experience, getting your personal pics, getting your, your logos, getting your team pictures, getting your buddy pictures, whatever you want to represent you. Today is so different. It used to just be, you have a green tree, a black tree, a white tree. And that used to be like the only options we had for air fresheners. And now we have options. We can put what the hell we want to right there. If you got a picture of it, we can put a picture of it on there and have it on your air freshener. We can do as many as you want. Custom order. Big time. Hit them up on Instagram at Temptation Freshies. On Instagram. Okay. Also brought to you by Hey Sports Performance. Privately owned, locally owned by me. I've sent over 500 kids to college, helped over thousands and thousands more just become better humans, just become more balanced, happier human beings, extracting and turning their potential into performance. That is my specialty. I work with all ages. Small kids, I call those the haystacks. Haystacks, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a play on words. I always try to make a play on words. Hayes Prep. The haystacks is for kids 5th grade and under. Just learning, just getting the foundation together. That's all we're doing is building foundation. Kind of like the Christmas Santa Claus this thing going. Just building foundation with 5th grade and under, man. Making sure you got, good motor skills, coordination, activation, all the basics. You got to have foundation before we're able to build. Speaking of building would be Hayes Prep. That's where we really build for the next level, start preparing for the next level. Middle school kids preparing for high school kids preparing for college kids preparing for the pros coming home, making sure they're ready to level up the next season. That's Hayes Prep. Then we got Hayes Fit for any age, young or old. You can come and just stretch. You can come and work out during the week. You can be an executive trying to make, best out of his small time that he has window and want to get some results. It can be for a social deal because you're at home all the time and you need to be working out, but you also need that social experience. Hayes Fit is perfect for that. I work I can have appointments during the daytime. We got appointments in the evening time, during noontime, while kids are at school. It can be a kid who just not into sports and want to be fit and just want to be fit and also want to have a conversation. And, sometimes that mentorship is everything. So having that one-on-one mentorship or having that group mentorship while we work out is a great thing to do. And kids need it these days more than anything. Parents, don't be fooled. And you are doing a perfect job. But having a team to help you have a healthy kid, I'm telling you now, worth the investment. You see some of these kids, you see what's happening to these days with anxiety and depression and, shit at school and, knowing that your kid has a team that can produce results as a healthy kid in society and turning his potential to performance, I think is priceless. My charges ain't cheap. My prices ain't cheap either. So anyway, holla at me, Hey Sports Performance, 971-400-8351. You can give me an email, coachwillhayes@gmail.com, or you can DM me at OTA_Team Hayes. Throwback Thursday, man. I've been thinking about y'all, wanting to get on this thing. We've been really working on our new processes, trying to make sure we get you more clips, more entertainment, more just a better product. We've been in the lab, me and Levi, trying to improve the product. There's some great services out there, some great things that we can plug into that make our delivery a little bit better. So we are working on it right now. Hopefully you start seeing the effects real soon, and we start getting more listeners, and we start making sure we're taking care of the listeners we already have. And that's huge. That's huge. Big shout out to all of our listeners. All of our listeners out there in Hazeland, baby. All our listeners out there in Hazeland on the different continents, if you know what I'm saying. All our peoples out there in America, of course, USA, the good old USA. They talk shit about us, but we still the leaders. We still here. Everybody hate us, but we still here. We still leading everything. That's how they do. When you in front, they gonna throw darts at your back, throw knives at your back when you in front. That's just how it go. Big shout out to America. I don't stop talking that shit. I ain't trying to be like that. Big shout out to our Canadian neighbors. What's going on? Hey. What up? Hey. We got some cats out there listening. A big shout out to y'all up there, man. Thank you for putting me on up there. Please spread the words. Please spread the love. We got people in France. We got people in Australia. We got people in New Zealand. What's up to my people in New Zealand, my people in Australia, my people in France? What's up, baby? Let's go. Worldwide, man. We're trying to get this thing worldwide. I ain't worldwide quite yet, but we around the globe a little bit. We making some rounds. And listen, that's all it needs. Can you imagine how excited I am? I would be excited if one person was like, man, I rock with you. Then I'd be like, all right, that's all. Sometimes y'all need you need real, so much proof. You need 1 million people, man. You get one person to believe in your message that consistently tunes into you, that wants to be a part of that. Your community, you got to nurture that. And I need to do a better job of nurturing it. I'm trying right now. I'm trying to deliver a better product. Because I love doing this. I just love doing this, and I love the therapy that comes with it. I love the conversation with my pops. And real talk, this it's tough though, because I know what it's going to be, but right now that's not what it is. It does do that for me. It allows me to talk to my pops, allows me to communicate with my community. It really allows me to get some good mental health out of it and be able to help more people at scale instead of helping one kid at a time. Now, I would love it to be a part of my financial freedom plan. For me to do this so well one day that I can put even more into this, that I can take even more time, deliver you more content, to get, do more, just give you more. But that takes time from me training and doing other work and my other business and stuff like that. And so the more I can gain on this track financially and start to get sponsorships and things like that, that help us run and help us grow, that would be a dream come true. So that's what I'm working for, baby. That's what I'm working for. It ain't people. So why you want to be? I want it so I can help more, so I can do more, so I can build more, so I can grow more. That's my dream. That's my dream. I want to build. I want to grow. I want to scale. I want to. How many people can I help? The podcast is how I can help people instead of helping people one-on-one. Now, my training business, we're working with a lot of teams and AAU and club teams, because one at a time, I can only help one at a time. I'm trying to help not just teams, but programs. I'm talking to a young lady right now that has, over 20 something teams. Then now I getting to, help teams at scale. That's kids at scale. You get to, help more than one school district. I want to be able to help people on a large level. So that's my whole goal. And the podcast allows me to do that, along with training, and it's a gift. So how can I give it to more people? That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line, right? That's the bottom. And so sometime in this process of not getting paid to do it, not getting paid a lot to do it, and trying to follow that dream like any other dream, it gets hard. It gets hard. It's fun and it does this, it does that, but make it make sense. Make it make sense. But you got to be able to do it for free. You got to be able to do it because you love it. That's the big key. The big key is doing it because you love it, and then you get paid. You don't get paid and then start going, man, I get paid so much. Can you believe this? Now I'm going to do it like I love it. That's backwards shit. That's backwards shit. I wish it worked like that, but I don't know if I wish it worked like that because this is the way you can separate the suckers from the real ones. You know what I'm saying? It's the suckers from the real ones. So anyway, that's where we at, man. I just want to get some real talk to you on this Thursday. I've been missing the mic a little bit as we go through our little production snafus and all this kind of stuff. We finally putting our shit together. So we back on track, baby. We back on track. Big, what's up? We back on the mic. Time to me to get it right. I ain't right. You already know freestyle's coming. So anyway, hey, Throwback Thursday. Thank you for joining me. I hope your week has been fantastic. Okay, I'm here with you today. I've been thinking a million thoughts. A lot of me think that I have spirits with me. You know how like people from the other side, like people that have passed away, I feel like they're with me a lot. And so I don't know if it's like when I get ready to do Throwback Thursday, and I always have like a story in mind that I want to go, that's been on my mind all week or something. And I feel like my ancestors, my grandmother, my uncle in particular, my dad in particular, my cousin Cowboy, right? I feel like they fight over who am I gonna talk about next? Who am I gonna? So this is for me, this is a real connection to my people, because when I go on Thursdays, it's literally like in my, and maybe that's crazy, maybe I'm crazy, but I honestly have always felt like I had a connection to the other side. I don't know what that is. I just feel like I can feel their presence when they're around me. I've always been able to sense that. Always, always, always. And it's no different now. And so when Thursday comes, I honestly feel like they fight over what story am I going to tell? Am I going to tell one about youth and me and a cowboy and our crazy stuff that we used to do as kids, or am I gonna talk about my dad only as much as I talk about him? But he is always wanting to be the center of attention. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know he is very connected to me. So I end up talking about my pops a lot, and I lost my uncle who was very influential to me from suicide, and that one hurt. It really really sucked. One I don't talk about a lot of, though, is my grandmother. My grandmother, her nickname was Tippy. Big shout out to anybody out there who's still rocking with their grandma, man. Grandmamas is everything. I might have talked about grandmamas on this show one time. But my grandmama, her name was Irene Hayes, baby. And she was the big dog in our family. Never seen a mother love. I mean, I'm sure this is how it is in a lot of people's family. My grandmother was loved. Nobody had an ill feeling about my grandmother. My grandmother had 15 kids, and 15 kids. Understand that, 15 kids. I think I talked about this one time. My grandmother got married to my grandfather. She was 15. The dude was 55. Holy shit. 15, 55. Today, that's against the law. Back then, they said if you want to have enough kids, you want to have hands on your farm and the 40 acres and the mule shit, then you had to have some kids. So, my grandfather, he got her young. And this dude didn't stop putting out babies till he was 80 something years old. Like, this dude is a classic. But my grandmother, she's the real OG. 15 kids? What? You had 15 kids? Are you out of your mind? Like, you know what I'm saying? And she was still the real deal. Like, as I was a kid, she was running shit. She was like the godfather of the family, because my grandfather had passed away, and my grandfather lived to like he was 90 something. But then it left my grandmother, because she was so much younger than my grandfather, 40 something 40 years younger than my grandfather. She was around a lot longer after he had passed. He passed away, and she was around a whole nother 30, 40 years. You got what I'm saying? So she was really like, she was everything to us. She was everything to us. And I just remember, I mean, I'm gonna say a couple specific things and stories and stuff, but I think sometimes when people pass, it hurts so much. Cause I talked about the way she passed away on here, but it hurts so much to even bring it up sometime. And it is no different about her. For me, it's a really painful subject, but when I don't talk about her, then I kind of, almost take away from all those great memories I had, and I'm not sure, like a Southern grandmother is a little bit different. She definitely was different. Okay. Like my grandmother, man. So we all in St. Louis, we all lived in my grandmother's house. Everybody, I told the story before. There's a lot of people in my grandmother's house. She had the house, and there was two or three uncles in the basement, and a couple of uh, a couple of aunties upstairs, two three aunties upstairs. She had her own room, and then it was the grandkids. We was all scattered around the house, or sleeping in the same room in the same bed, just crazy shit. And my grandmother she was just unbelievable, man. Just unbelievable. From She was the best cook I've ever ran into in my life, right? I've ever met in my life. She cooked me the best food. They don't even know how to make food the way my grandmother made food. You know what I mean? Like this food ain't even nowhere near. I try to cook the way my grandmother used to cook. That's real talk. That I think for me that's the closest thing. Besides one of my aunts, or when my dad was alive. But that food, man, just couldn't be replicated. She knew how to cook it. She didn't use bullshit ingredients. She knew exactly what she was, Nope, I've been using this since this long, and I wish I would have had a recipe book. I wish I would have been paying attention. I wish I would have been writing down everything. I wish I would have been paying attention. If you still got your grandmother out there, it's the best resource in the world, man. The best resource in the world. Think about my grandmother was 40 years younger than my grandfather. So she soaked up all the knowledge that he knew. My grandmother knew everything my grandfather knew, and my grandfather knew a lot. This nigga, he was into everything. He was, everything from running whiskey to doing, you know what I mean? He had 40 acres. He had kids. He had kids by different women. He was all over the place, but he was making it happen back when it was hard, and had white folks calling him sir when white folks didn't call black people sir. Like that motherfucker was he was a real OG. Like he was the real deal, So, but my grandmother soaked up all the knowledge that he had. And one of the reasons I got so much knowledge is because my father was one of the older boys, and he soaked up all the knowledge his mama and his daddy had. So when my grandfather was born in 1893, when you start soaking up game from 1893, 1894, and you understand what the world is really the fuck about, I got some raw, uncut shit from my family that we really know what this shit's about. You know what I mean? Like, so when the world start tripping out, it's like, nah, this is exactly what they said it was. If you understand, this is exactly what they said it was, And so my grandmother she was just unbelievable. I just want to give her a big shout out, and a couple things. Like my grandmother was active on the ass kicking front. On the ass kicking front, my grandmother, because we all lived in the same house. Let me paint the picture like I like to do. My dad and my uncles were all gangsters, right? We're all in the street, all doing shit. And so they kind of had rooms at the bottom of the house. We had a big brick three-story house. And the uncles had it kind of sectioned off in the big ass basement where it's three different big ass rooms. So three uncles lived down there. Boom. Okay, maybe four. I think maybe it was three or four in the basement, all sectioned off. They had it whipped up. It was really only one room down there, one legit room down there, but they ended up making it into four, because the rest of it was storage underneath the house. They made that shit into 4 different rooms. So it's 4 different rooms downstairs. main bedroom had the kitchen, had my grandmama's room, had our living room and dining room, porch off to the back porch, porch off to the front porch, and then it went upstairs. And upstairs had a whole nother, we had fireplaces, 2 fireplaces in the house. Fireplaces on every level. That's how St. Louis is made. The fireplaces everywhere. Fireplace upstairs. Another 3 or 4 bedrooms upstairs. All the kids slept in one. Me and my 2 cousins were the only kids that lived there. Me and my cousin Mark, my cousin Wayne. We stayed in one room. Sometimes they would go and like stay in so you can go and be in your parents' room. Like, I'm just gonna stay with you, Dad. I'm living. But a lot of time, my dad had girls in his bed, so there was no staying down there. So think about that. They was kind of having their relationships, and they would have people in their bed, in their own bedrooms, like they was apartments. And so me and my cousins, we slept in our own room, so we didn't bother our parents. When it was bedtime, you had to take your ass to your bed and go to bed and shut the door. So grown-ups can be grown-ups. And grown-ups was grown-ups back then. It was shit happening in our house. We could not get the fuck up. It was go to your room and go to bed. You know what I'm saying? That was our thing. So it was a lot of shit happening in our house. Grown-ups, my dad, after he put me to bed, my dad would leave. He would go over his girl's house. He might not come home till the next day, but my grandmother was there, so she would take care of shit. So after nighttime, we would start sneaking out. Not sneaking outside, sneaking downstairs to the kitchen. Now there was a lot of sneaking going on. Let me talk about this. We're gonna get into this today. This part of our story. Now, through different doors, you've seen different things because we had different uncles in different rooms. We had aunties in different rooms. Now, it was kind of off limits to look through the aunties' rooms because my 2 cousins, they mamas lived there. And so we didn't really want to look in on what was going on with them. That was their mama. They was very protective over their mamas. And then my daddy was downstairs. I don't know why he was on. He was, he should have been off limits too, but evidently he wasn't because we used to go down there and see what the hell he was doing with all these girls and all this kind of shit all the time. So my grandmother's job was to keep us under control, was to make sure that when the parents were being parents and when the parents were being grown-ups and living a life and visiting and her job was to tighten our ass up. And my grandmother did not disappoint. Okay, my grandmother was not like one of them bullshit grandma. My grandmother was active, bro, with the Switch game. She would fuck you up with the Switch game. Like, hey, go get a Switch from outside. Go get a stick from outside. You come back with some bullshit stick, she go get something twice as bigger and then kick your ass with it. I'm talking about whelps everywhere, all over your body. All over your body. I'm not talking about on your ass. I'm talking about if you won't move and try to put your hand there, then your hand got a welt. Your arm got a welt. Your ass got a welt. Everything got a welt. She was active. Not only that. My grandmother was so, I think because she came from that slave era. This is that we gotta talk about this shit. That slave era was different. My grandmother would hit us with the extension cords. We talking about cords like a phone cord, but it was thicker than this because cords went into the wall. The phone cord went into the wall. My grandmother would use the phone cord, bro. Like you had these welts for 4 or 5 days. Red welts, like kick your ass, go to school, no problem, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wasn't cool. That wasn't it though. She would use a hanger. She would use a stick. She would, I'm not fucking around. This was borderline really abuse, but I think we was really bad. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, to counter that, we was actually really fucking bad. And so I just want to chronicle some of the nighttime shit that we would try to get away with, that we would get our ass kicked by. Okay, this is why we would get our ass kicked so much. Like, no cap. Like, this was bad shit. You know what I'm saying? But some of it was, you can't blame us. they would make us eat only. They would allow us to only eat 3 meals a day, like penitentiary, 3 meals a day, because there was too many people in the house. If you were eating all day long, there would never be food. So my grandmother had a lock on the refrigerator, lock on the freezer. Who does that shit? Like real key to the lock. So it was only open when she wanted to be open. So when she fed us, say, hey, breakfast time, then we come down to eat. She locked that shit up. You ain't going to get no more juice. You're not going to get a second. No. I put what's on the table. That's yours. You need to ask me for some more. You're not doing shit. And then down there, it was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You know, that's how it is in the South. Get your ass kicked not answering correctly. So shit was tough. You're right. So we didn't really have food unless sometime my grandma would be like, slice us a cup, think of that watermelon. Everybody get a slice of watermelon, go outside, boom, boom. My grandmother made us write our names on cans. The thing about canned food, can of green beans. You take the wrapper off. My grandmother said, you're not going to dirty up no damn glass or no cup. You're a kid. Kids don't get cups. Only grown-ups get glasses. This is fucked up. Only grown-ups get glasses and cups. What you get is a can. Kids get cans. Doesn't that sound like something? Kids in cans. So you get a can. So the 3 kids in the house, we had our name on a can. And so it's can, and you put your Kool-Aid in there, the ice, and it was bomb. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was bomb as shit because it was always cold, and it's hot as shit in St. Louis. And so your water, always cold as shit in a can. That's how my grandmother did it from the South. No doubt about it. Go outside, pick the tomatoes. Go outside, we had a garden all the time, so you had to spend time in the garden every motherfucker. It was real shit. So, okay. One of the things, just chronicle one of the things we was getting in trouble for. We used to be starving. You feeding us 3 times a day. This is growing ass boys, right? I'm 6'4.5". Like I was hungry as shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we could only eat 3 times a day. After dinner's over, say you eat dinner, you eat dinner at 7, 8 o'clock. Nigga, growing boy, 11 o'clock, you starving. You starving. So we would have to try to bust in that freezer. Sometime we trying to bust in the freezer, or sometimes they would leave it open. They would leave that shit open. Leave the refrigerator open. That was our opening, right? So every night our plan was, after they went to sleep, was to slide downstairs to the kitchen through the back stairs and go get food. That was our whole thing. Not knowing they could actually smell toasting. Nobody knew that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? We thought that shit was confined to where we could just smell it. We had no idea. Like, now you can smell, like you at home and you start smelling some toast or some bacon. You're like, oh, who the fuck cooking? We didn't even understand that concept. We would just say, man, just hurry up, cook the toast. Like, nobody would know somebody. One of the things we was making was sugar toast with butter, put cinnamon sugar on there. That was a big thing back then. Jelly toast, just with butter and jelly, just with butter. Shit, you just eat toast because we couldn't get in the motherfucking refrigerator. The only thing we had to eat was outside the refrigerator. So a lot of times it was the loaf of bread that was left out, the loaf of bread and like the butter dish. So niggas were always making like fucking toast. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was making toast all the time with the syrup. Oh, there's some syrup. Put some syrup on there. So sometimes while we down there cooking up shit or scooping out some more leftovers, trying to hurry, man, my grandmother would come down there and you in mid spoonful going into your mouth, nigga, that motherfucking belt, bow, right on your motherfucking back, crack, and she just started literally whooping the shit out of us. Da 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 da. Just started kicking our ass. Like, we almost thought it was a game because I was sticking around longer to get my ass kicked that bad. Because she would hit you as long as you was there. So if you take off and start running, she'd be like, I told your ass. And so we was like, go back to the room, go to bed. And we'd be up there laughing. But at the same time, like, man, this bitch is crazy. We can't believe, like, what is going on? We was little kids. We talking about 3rd grade. We're talking about 2nd grade. My grandmother's killing us, bro. We're talking about the South is different. The South is just, I seen a meme recently about how Florida kids are different. I can believe that because St. Louis kids are different, bro. Them motherfuckers, we was bad. She was beating the shit out of us, bro, like upside the head. And I want to believe we motherfucking deserved it most of the time. I mean, eating was one thing. We was picked in the lock, getting into the freezer. We was trying to steal money out of different people's pockets, out of the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was going downstairs into my uncles and them and my dad's rooms while they was asleep. Literally, while they was messing with girls, like humping, in the act. We're like, get a 20. They're busy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And my grandmother would literally catch us like coming out on our knees while the lights was off as my dad's in there doing what he doing. And we like sneaking out and my grandma would be, what the fuck are you doing? Pow, 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 pow. Like it was like, what the fuck is like? She would catch us everywhere we were. It was unbelievable, bro. It was unbelievable. Sneaking outside, being outside after dark when our parents wasn't home. We thought we could get away with it because my grandmother was there. My grandmother's cooking or she's sleeping or... Man, you come home after that street light come on when you're supposed to be home, before it got dark. Soon the street lights come on, come in the house. They didn't even see us all motherfucking day. Literally, it was until you didn't see us till the street lights came on. They didn't know what the fuck we were doing. They had no clue. But if I was not home before it got dark and them street lights, motherfucker, that was telling you, get your ass on. Street lights, come on, get home. Bro, if you weren't home by then, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. And then on top of that, then once our parents got home, then my grandmother would say, sometimes, I had to kick his ass because he went home. Then my dad would kick my ass again. Get the fuck out of here. Or my auntie would kick my cousin the ass. I was like, man, we can't win. Like, this shit is tough. What is we going to do? Like, so... My grandmother was tough. She would catch us doing everything. Most of our shit was behind eating. Like literally, and I don't even think that was a crime, but I think she liked kicking our ass so much that she would almost starve us for dinner just because she knows we'll get our ass up. So she knows she has some ass to kick. Black grandmothers in the South are with the shit when it comes to kicking some ass. She's from Arkansas. She loved kicking some ass. She loved whipping people. That was her thing. I don't know if that's a slave thing. She was whipping the shit out of me though. She whipped the shit out of us all the time. So did my dad. So did the parent. But my grandmother, she was the chief rocker, bro. She was the chief rocker. Okay? She was the chief rocker. Unreal. Unmatched. Now, peach cobbler, crazy. My grandmother made something called butter roll. I still ain't had it since my grandmother passed away. If you got a butter roll, if you can get a hold of me. If you down south, I know it's made with condensed milk, some kind of bread, and it is out of this world. I ain't had it since. The best dessert I've ever had in my life. Butter roll. It's made down south. They don't make it in Oregon. They don't even know what the hell it is. I've been talking about it for 20-something years. Don't know what the hell it is. Butter roll. Oh, my goodness. My grandmother made the best food, man, and she could make anything out of chicken. Shit, 20 different ways. We have beans and cornbread one day. Next day, you got, you know what I'm saying? Like my grandmother, she was the real deal. Say let's take chicken for instance. My grandmother we had fried chicken one day, boom, fried chicken, boom, done. Great shit. She made the sides with it, whatever. Next night, that fried chicken got made out of a whole chicken. She cut the shit out of there. So she got bones. Afterwards, we got some kind of chicken soup's gonna happen the next day for the next couple days because she gonna make enough for the next couple of days. Right, that's gonna be that with some, that's gonna be that chicken soup couple days. After that, she done saved some to make some motherfucking chicken salad. Right, we gonna have chicken salad sandwiches and a salad and a blah blah blah. This is all out this motherfucking chicken. You know what I'm saying? Then she done made a chicken broth from that shit that she gonna put into something else. Like she just, like my grandmother, she did not mess around. One deal turned into 5 things that week, and then she was on to the next protein and doing the same damn thing. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like I know that's the way they really do it. We gotta learn how to get back to that shit. Plus, my grandmother grew every goddamn thing, so it was like, I need some tomatoes. Go outside and go get some tomatoes. Go outside and go get some this. Go outside and get some that. Like we wasn't running to the store every 5 minutes. My grandmother had that shit outside. Go outside and go get. Nah, that don't taste. The ones in the store, I don't eat the ones in the store. They don't taste like this. Like they knew some shit, bro. Grandmamas, man. One of the things I want to talk about today, that was one of the most. This is not PG part of this. Okay, this is rated. This is rated R, rated PG-13, I should say. Me and my cousins, we learned a lot in certain peepholes in that house. Unfortunately, my Uncle Larry, this motherfucker, this nigga Larry, man. My Uncle Larry, he went on to be a doctor. I think he just retired. What up, Uncle Larry? Uncle Larry, I think he's 65 now, something like that. My Uncle JD was just out here from St. Louis, told me my Uncle Larry just retired. I gotta tell this story, Uncle Larry. Uncle Larry ain't go like this. I don't know if Uncle Larry do this, but Uncle Larry had the finest girls. Well, he had some fine girls. My Uncle JD had some fine ass girls though, and my dad, all them niggas had fine girls. All the uncles and my dad, they had fine girls, bro. But at one point, my uncle had a really pretty girl that he dated, and she would come over, and my uncle had one of the rooms upstairs with a keyhole, the old keyhole, the old I forget that keyhole, the type of keyhole, but it was a keyhole. Dad, this dog is irritating the shit out of me. Sugars, be quiet! God damn. So he had the old-fashioned keyhole. So we used to go, when his girl came over, we would wait till a certain time of night, bro. And we would go and look through this keyhole, me and my 2 cousins. And this was our sexual education. Our sex education was through this peephole. This dude was handling business with this girl. I'm talking about they was doing some shit that that later on I would see, oh, that's what they do in these videos. Like, you know what I'm saying? But as a kid, those old peepholes, bro, I'm sure they got a lot of people in trouble. I mean, we would be watching like taking turns. You can imagine only one peephole. So me and my only one eye can go at a time. So nigga like here, then the other like my turn. We didn't even know what was going on. We were just like, what is happening there? And this dude would be, now that I know, it'd be doggy and missionary and all this kind of shit. You'd be like, what is happening? But we were traumatized as kids. We know we was watching, but we kept on watching. We was like, what is going on? Uncle Larry, he was a go for that one. I ain't gonna lie. But that was part. But again, once my grandmother understood that was happening, that we was going to look at that shit, she started plotting on us and almost like set booby traps for us. We would go up there, try to peek, and that would get her really mad. You little nasty motherfuckers. She would start beating the shit out of us. But the problem is we weren't really doing nothing because we didn't really do as bunch of dudes. So we didn't really know what we was doing. We were just looking in there and shit like, what is going on? And like, damn, he is really bad, man. But we didn't have like magazines. We didn't have nothing. We just was like, damn, Uncle Larry is tearing this bitch up. That was just like, we just knew it was like clockwork. Every time she came over, This nigga was getting wet. It was happening. You know what I'm saying? And so that was kind of like the dude that wasn't. It wasn't my dad. It was an uncle that wasn't one of my cousin's fathers. He was just a bachelor. My uncle Larry was the tallest out of all my uncles and dads and shit. And he was a motherfucking doctor. So this nigga just got. What was he doing there? He was only there for a very short period of time. I'm sure this was my Uncle Mac too. My Uncle Mac was the same way. He's athletic, basketball playing motherfucker. He had a room there too. And we would go check him out too because he was down there laying broads out. We were like, yo, what is going on? And that's probably how you got hypersexual ass, kids. We had knew way too much, way too early. Way too much. I'm telling you, those peepholes, those skeleton key peepholes, probably ruined a bunch of kids, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, because we seen way too much. If you would have had the doors we have now, you couldn't see shit. But those doors, my grandmother started putting the wet toilet paper in between, and so that you can't get through there. But then the skeleton key can get through there. We actually used the skeleton keys in those houses. That's what opened up the doors. So you couldn't really block it all the time. But my grandmother would put shit in there. She went on to get a little smarter than us and started putting shit in there and got us. So if it was moved or it was changed, she knew it. Then she would come and kick our ass and kick all of our asses, assuming that we all looked or something like that. So then my uncles all moved out, and so we didn't really have a show anymore. But for a while, holy cow, the Peephole show, that was our thing. I think. Listen, I want to say. My uncle's girlfriend. I ain't even say that. Never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say the lady's name because it just make you like, what? Like, I want to say the girl's name was like Puddin'. Like, you imagine that? Like, this girl, she was beautiful, and her name was Puddin'. and that was his girl. Like, her name was Puddin'. Can you imagine that? Just smooth like pudding. She was beautiful. I'm talking about caramel. Holy shit, this girl was beautiful, and her name was Puddin'. And she was coming over. And he was hitting it like, come on, man. Jesus Christ. Anyway, listen, I didn't really want to tell that story today, but I just feel like I feel like my cousin Cowboy on me, and my grandmother been on me to talk about her a little bit. So I want to give you a little preview about my grandmother and how she would whoop our ass trying to go view stupid shit like that. My grandmother would whoop our fucking head off till she would catch that shit, because she knew exactly what we was doing. She knew exactly how her bad little grandsons was thinking and all that kind of shit. And it would just, that life, as I look back on it, was just so damn fun. And I guess we was at our poorest, but we was all together. It was all love. Everybody was kind of pulling together to get out and to make it. And that made it fun. You didn't know, we was all struggling. So it wasn't like somebody had it and one of us didn't. I didn't know the difference. I thought that's the way life was supposed to be. And I think when you're ignorant like that to the fact that you don't even know, you got those blinders on, it feels so good when you're not thinking about who has more and who has this and I don't have enough. We sometimes focus too much on what we don't have and not enough on what we have an abundance of. Start focusing on what you have an abundance of, man. So back then I didn't have all the money. We didn't even have a house. We was all staying in one crib, but we had abundance of love because we was all together. And I think that's the part that I missed, that I missed the most. And even as you grow up, you start thinking about, I come from nothing. You come from something. You come from love. You come from togetherness. You come from family. You know what I'm saying? People that come from money, fuck, what is that? What is that? What does coming from money mean? You know what I mean? If you got no values, you got no core, you got no, you know what I mean? What you stand for, So I just want to get that story out to you, man, and give shed some light on my grandmama, and some of our childhood stuff. And I miss her to death. Tippy, I love you. If you're lucky enough to have your grandmother still around, your grandfather still around, cherish them. like the treasures they are, man. You cannot get that back. You cannot. Once your grandmother's gone, you're a different person. Once your parents are gone, you're a different person. So make sure you're out there enjoying your people, man. Love yours. Love yours. Hey, this episode today was brought to you by Temptation Freshies and Hey Sports Performance. Thank you for joining us today. If you like today's episode, please like, please share, please comment. Most of all, please subscribe. Thank you for joining. Please join us tomorrow for an episode of Fatherhood Friday. Have a fantastic Thursday. It's Coach Hayes. I'm out. Peace.